The OrthoAgility S3 Shoulder CPM is a complete shoulder CPM system. The S3 includes a soft goods kit, CPM actuator, portable CPM chair, power supply, programmable controller, and operating manual. We will begin setup with the portable CPM chair. First, with the chair standing upright on its wheels, unfold the legs by pulling up on the locking pins and then open each leg. Be sure to open the legs fully and until each relocks in the open position. Next, set the chair on its legs. Unlock the backrest by pulling out on the locking pin and then lift the backrest into its upright position. Install the armrest to complete setup by pulling down on the locking pin located underneath the seat and locking the armrest into the channel as shown. Equipped with a sophisticated yet easy-to-use adjustment mechanism, the turret arm holds the S3 actuator and swivels to allow proper positioning to the actuator relative to the patient. The curved arc bar can be moved horizontally to facilitate precise alignment. Raising and lowering of the actuator is accomplished by loosening the two elevation locking levers and turning the elevation knob. For further adjustment for patient comfort and proper alignment, the entire adjustment mechanism can be pivoted horizontally. To properly work locking levers, first press down on the levers to engage the turning mechanism, and while holding down, turn to loosen or tighten. Never over-tighten levers as this may damage the locking mechanism. In preparation for a new patient, always apply a new set of disposable soft goods. First, apply the elbow pad to the elbow cuff. Next, install the forearm pad by weaving the soft goods strap through the slots in the support cup. Install soft goods on the wrist cuff in the same manner, weaving the soft goods strap through the slots in the support cup. Finally, install the handle pad onto the handle. Make sure the patient's on-off thumb switch protrudes through the hole in the handle pad, and then weave the Velcro strap through the slot in the handle. We're now ready to attach the actuator to the chair. Begin by loosening the turret arm and positioning the arm so that it is parallel with the armrest. Next, swivel the arc bar away from the involved side of the chair. Then extend the arc bar as far as it will go toward the side you wish to attach the actuator. Before we do, we'll make sure the actuator is set to accommodate a left or right shoulder. To do this, press the silver locking button at the center of the abduction drive and then rotate the unit to either the left or right depending on what shoulder is involved. We will now attach the actuator to the chair. First, loosen the locking lever located on the mounting bracket. Then, depress the safety pin on the turret arm and slide the actuator onto the arm, supporting its weight as you do. Now turn the actuator so it's parallel to the armrest as shown here. Before beginning patient setup, plug the power cord into the power supply and then into a grounded wall receptacle. Also, install the programmable controller. Plug the cord leading from the power supply into the appropriate connector on the controller. Then plug the cord leading from the abduction actuator drive into the remaining connector on the controller. The controller's internal rechargeable battery will operate the S3 from 8 to 10 hours on a full charge. We're now ready to fit the S3 to a patient. Have the patient sit in a chair with feet flat on the floor and positioned directly out in front. Adjust the headrest for comfort. Now position the actuator so it's behind the patient's shoulder blade and slide the actuator in as close to the patient as possible without touching. Remember to securely tighten all locking levers. It will be necessary to adjust the position of the arc bar and the height of the actuator to properly align the unit to the patient's shoulder. When finished again, tighten locking levers. Proper alignment is achieved when the silver button at the center of the abduction actuator drive is aligned with the center of the patient's shoulder joint. Once aligned properly, place the patient's arm in the device. Loosen the upper arm locking knob and adjust the length of the arm support for patient comfort. Place the patient's hand in the handle and tighten the Velcro straps as demonstrated. This patient should be comfortable as well as secure in the device. We will now demonstrate how to program the controller. To begin, turn the power on by pressing the Power On button on the controller. Notice that the green power indicator light is now lit. Now, run the abduction actuator by depressing and holding the forward-reverse button on the actuator drive. Notice how the actuator moves slowly. Abducting the shoulder, continue running the drive in this manner until the desired abduction is reached, then stop by releasing the forward-reverse button. Now run the rotation actuator drive in the same manner again, allowing the actuator to travel until the desired amount of rotation is reached, and then stop by releasing the forward-reverse button. We've just reached the first range of motion limit and will now program it into the controller. Notice that the blue Limit 1 light is flashing repeatedly, indicating Limit 1 is ready to receive programming. Program the first range of motion limit by firmly pressing the Limit 1 button twice. We must now program the second range of motion limit. Start by running the rotation actuator in the reverse direction until the desired amount of range of motion is reached. Now, run the abduction actuator by depressing and holding the forward-reverse button as previously demonstrated. Now, program the second range of motion limit into the controller by firmly pressing the Limit 2 button twice. To begin patient treatment, start the device by pressing the patient on-off thumb switch. As an added safety feature, should the thumb switch be pressed twice, the unit will reverse its direction of travel. The S3 Shoulder CPM will move through a range of continuous passive motion between the two limits programmed into the controller. Range of motion can be changed at any time by repeating the previous programming steps. The S3 can achieve 0 to 85 degrees internal-external rotation and 0 to 135 degrees of abduction. The CPM is equipped with a reverse unload safety feature. Should the patient sufficiently resist motion, or if motion is obstructed, the unit will reverse its direction of travel. Next, we'll demonstrate setting up the S3 for forward flexion extension and internal-external rotation range of motion. For this configuration, begin with the actuator facing inside toward the patient when attaching it to the turret arm. Place the patient's arm in the actuator, fastening all soft goods for comfort and security. Range of motion is programmed as previously instructed, and treatment initiated by pressing the patient on-off thumb switch. The S3 achieves a range of motion in forward flexion and extension of 0 to 135 degrees. Flexion extension may be programmed to include internal-external rotation, as shown here, or rotation may be excluded altogether. And that's all there is to setting up and programming the S3 Shoulder CPM and portable CPM chair from OrthoAgility. The S3 controller allows you to increase the range of motion in any one direction without having to reprogram the entire range. First, allow the unit to run to the end of the range of motion you want to increase. When that range of motion reaches its current programmed limit, its limit light will come on. When this happens, stop the unit. Now increase the range by pressing the forward and reverse button until the new desired range of motion is reached. Press the Limit button twice to program the new range of motion and then begin treatment. When not in use, store the chair in a safe place to avoid damage. First, release the two locking pins at the base of the backrest and collapse the backrest onto the seat. Next, stand the chair up on its wheels. Locate the 2 leg locking pins, pull up to release, and then fold each leg in until it relocks in the folded position. For complete S3 operating instruction, always refer to your owner's manual or contact your Ortho Agility CPM representative.